Hello everyone, this is Steve with Overshot Productions. In this video I'm going to show you how I made this simple but satisfying animation using BlenderKit and Shader Plus, Caustics, and Thin Film plugin for Blender. As you can see with the cycles, you can see all the caustic rays throughout the scene. If you go over to Eevee, you can see the thin film, which is the like rainbow purpley color you see on the vase there. It's kind of like if you ever see like oil on a street after it rains, you see that rainbow kind of effect. Similar concept. So to get the light to move up through, we hide that for now. We go at Shift A, and then go to Light, Point. By default, it will go down to World Origin. You hit Shift left arrow, it'll go back to the very first frame. Hit I and Location. And if you hit Shift right arrow, go all the way to the end. And if you grab the light with G and then Z for Z axis, that'll bring it up. So I like to go all the way up to the top here. He's back on. So this is what we're moving around, this little light. As it comes up, you can see it's casting the caustics down on the floor. I liked it around here, so hit I to set a keyframe, location. Now if you hit spacebar to let it play through, as it's going up, it's casting those caustics on the ground, and as well, as it goes back down, onto the cube's wall, which it looks amazing. And the ceiling just looks so pretty. But it's really easy to do this here, so we're gonna delete this vase to show how it started off. In this case, we just have a light going up. To get the vase, I use BlenderKit, which if you use the link in the description, you get 10% off of your subscription. But with that, you get access to models, materials, scenes, which you literally can drag and drop into Blender, choose append, hit OK. It'll make a whole new scene for you up here. You zoom out, you're ready to go. You don't need to change anything else. Some of them do have animations in, like for instance this one I know it does. If you hit 0 on your number pad, it'll go into the camera view. And if you hit space, it'll start animating. So within a couple seconds, you can have a whole new scene ready to go. Anyway, back to what I was trying to show. If you go over to, there's also HDRIs. If you click on HDRI, just drag it in, choose your resolution, hit OK. In this case, we're in a box, so you're not going to see it. But if you scroll out, it's ready to go. So there's no other configuration, ready to go. All within this toolbar that'll always be up there inside your Blender window. Okay, so we go back to models and search for vase. I used this one for the animation. Click it and drag it in. But I also want to see how this one will look. So this will give me an opportunity to show you how easy it is to add the caustic shader to it. So if we select the vase, go over to the shading tab, make sure you're in render viewed. If you hit the I to minimize that again. So by default, this is the node set up for that. Now notice I am in Blender 4.0, so the principal BSDF looks a little different than what you'll see in a moment. If you hit Shift A, go down to Shader Plus, you have all of these presets built in ready to go. So you could essentially replace the last node with any of these to get the caustics added on. So in this case, I used the caustic preset and chose strong. for the principled. And just drag it in. And look at that, without changing anything, you already have the Caustics glow on the floor as well as on the wall. And if you change the base color, this will update to match. If we were to just throw like the regular glass in, for instance, you don't get any of that. You get a light glow, but you want to see the Caustics. You get rid of that with X, drag this over to the surface. With this, you can drag these over. So you would just drag the roughness over to roughness. Kind of gives it a frosted look in this case. You can drag the normal over. The normal. But in this case, I did not include the roughness, so it's still 0, nice and clear. And I also didn't include the normal. But it shows you that you can do it. So you could take any material and add this in without being super destructive. As you probably noticed, this is a lot bigger than a usual default principled BSDF. All this stuff is the same. If you scroll down here, this is where the differences are. Let me change this back to white. Oops, not what I wanted. Back to white. I'm not going to pretend to know what all these mean, but if you start scrolling these around, you can see how they affect the caustics onto the background. I like to keep it at the caustic strength at 1, the caustic imperfections at 1. Drag it down, you can kind of see a difference back here. Dispersion, again, I just left all these alone. There's not too much obvious changes there, except that one. Color shift, this is essentially a hue changer. So if we go through it, now with me being on white, it's not going to show any difference. If I zero that back out, changes to red again. If we go back down to hue, or sorry, dispersion color shift, it will change the color. So you could animate this to change throughout the animation, or just if you have a base color like a texture in, you can change it with this. Again, I'm going to go back to just default white. And this one is what I like to mess with the most. So thin film intensity. I put that all the way up to 1. That adds that rainbowy blue color to it. And as you can already see, it's adding onto the floor there, the wall, and the ceiling. Not so much. Not right now, anyway. But within a couple clicks, you get all those pretty caustics. And if we were to go over to this glass, see how this one has a few textures as well. Drag it over, Shift A, Shader Plus, Caustics. Strong. Click it in, and just by default, it's getting all that already. I'm going to drag these over so you get the base color, which again, it was white, so you're not really going to see a difference, but roughness and to normal. And if we change the thin film, you got that pretty color on there and the reflections. If we change the thin film IOR, it changes, as you can see. So, I mean, the possibilities here are pretty endless. Whatever your mind can come up with, you can do. again, I don't know what all these mean, but I just like messing with that thin film and then default Caustics one. So if we were to hide this glass face for now, hit play on the spacebar, hit spacebar to play, you can see that the light is going up. Now with it off to the side, you can see it's casting the caustics onto the floor and the ceiling and everything. If we were to move this back to the center, so it's Shift S, selection to cursor, and you'll see the light passing through. And as it's going through, it's hitting all these waves on the sides of the vase, and it makes those beautiful caustics. Now, if you ever messed with the caustics in Blender, it does take a while to render, but with this, it is very quick. Now, I am on an RTX 4090, so mine is going to be quick by default, and that is super bright. I changed something. So let's undo that, get a new one, Shader Plus, Caustics, Strong. Drag over, in film 1. That's better. Alright, so if I hit play, it's going to go up and go through. As far as the render settings, let's get to... There, it looks good. Noise threshold I set to 0.01. Max samples I just set to 50. The artifacts you see is because the noise threshold is 0.1. If I was to render that, you would see that in the renders as well. If we go up to render, render image, this is very quick compared to Blender's default caustics. And there you go, it's done. Check the description below for affiliate links for BlenderKit and Shader Plus. They both offer free versions to try out. If you do decide to purchase them through these links, we will get a commission at no additional cost to you. Also, the assets available through BlenderKit are good for commercial use, so you'll be able to use them in your own Blender projects. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Hope you have a great day.